But is the trust lost, Professor Brahmachalani, before I bring in Ambassador Rajamohani? Has that trust been lost? Because, Professor Chilani, a relationship requires predictability. And with the US now, we don't know what Trump will say on Monday, what he may say on Tuesday, and what will the situation be on the weekend.
You're absolutely right, Gaurav. It takes long efforts to build mutual trust. It took 25 years to build some degree of mutual trust between the US and India. Now that trust has been corroded to a significant extent, and rebuilding it will take time. But in a way, it's good for India because Trump has opened India's eyes. He has opened India's eyes to the risks of too much dependency on Washington. Just the way during Operation Sindoor, he opened India's eyes to relying too much on the US for military hardware, for defense cooperation. So these developments, in a way, are good for India because we tend in India to get carried away. Realistically, we should have known all these facts.
Yes.
Yet we are a sentimental lot. We get carried away very easily, and we believe in things like peace and restraint. For example, the counter tariffs that Modi imposed in his second term against the US on select American exports to India eventually led to a trade deal on the eve of the 2023 G20 summit in New Delhi. Without the Indian counter tariffs, there would have been no deal.
Okay.
The trade deal resulted from the Indian counter tariffs. The American exporters were lobbying Washington to get these Indian counter tariffs removed. So ultimately,
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. Peace only comes through strength. And India, in Op Sindoor, we were able to display our strength, our military and strategic strength. But Ambassador Rajamani, the point that Professor Brahmachalani raised, when it comes to defense hardware, we are still looking at buying fighter jet engines, a deal worth $1 billion for our the GE404 engines and then GE414 engines. How reliable a defense partner would the United States be?
I think that is an uncertainty we will have to live with for as long as we procure systems from the US, and the US indeed has very advanced systems. So the best solution is to make in India, but make in India is going to take a long time, and it's going to be a difficult process without instant results. So already we have diversified our basket considerably so that we are not dependent on any one country. We cannot completely eliminate some dependence on the US, but as the history of India-US relations has taught us, we must be prepared for setbacks. President to president, policies change, the views of administration change, uncertainties come into our relationship. So we must create institutional linkages which can overcome such bumps when they happen. I hope this is also one small instance such as that.
Okay, just some headwinds that this relationship is facing. But last 30 seconds that I have on this part of the show, Jayant Krishna, the focus must remain, one, on upskilling, and two, Atmanirbharta, and especially when it comes to defense and high-end technology.
No, absolutely. I think, the way I see whatever US has done to India, or for that matter to the rest of the world, I think it's a never before opportunity for India to reform big time, right? We have started with GST reforms. I think you are right. We have to take up skilling Indians, very, very seriously. If India has to reap a rich demographic dividend, the time is now, because this so-called demographic dividend is not an endless window of opportunity for India, right? In about 2 to 3 decades time, Indian population would start, the negative growth would start in the population. Already the growth rate has slowed down, right? So I think we have to, one reason why post-COVID, when a lot of countries were looking at India as a worthwhile destination to have their manufacturing supply chains ending at, we did not get those kind of investments. One reason was that, we didn't have adequate skills, especially when it came to Industry 4.0 technologies. I think we as a country, we have to re-energize the Skill India mission. We
Okay.
have to ensure that on all these technologies which matter in manufacturing today, we take it up on a war footing. I think
Yes.
that's very, very important, Gaurav.
Okay, so far things appear to be returning on an even keel, but will it remain so? Or with Donald Trump, until it's done, the deal is still not done, and we'll be tracking that story very closely.